You sit for a moment, the door opens and a group of 30-somethings comes into view. All the men and women are dressed alike, sporty, running shoes, jeans, small shoulder bags. They're officers from the Paris anti-crime squad in plain clothes. You sigh. They're brutish types. Ones who like to race, tackle, clobber. Spicy, hello, hello! I'm glad you've joined us! We're doing some detective stuff today. Ones who ruined the afternoons you spent wandering around Paris in your teens. After a bit, one of them pulls away from the group and comes over to your taxi. He opens the door and collapses onto the back seat. He's stocky and of an Asian descent. You can see his muscles through his thick winter clothes. He smells like creeps and hard cider and his face is bright red. Hey, what's up? I live near Turnus. He chuckles as one of his colleagues rushes over to the taxi and pulls an imaginary gun from his coat. He points to his badge and screams at you with a big smile on his face. What a douchebag! But he says, so the whole thing is just reading? It's collecting clues, it's talking to people on your cab. You actually have dialogue options. And then at the end of the day, of the working day, you get like a clue board where you have to figure out who's guilty. The other cop eventually backs off and you drive away. Sorry man, we were having a going away party for a colleague. And celebrating Christmas too. No worries. The passenger smiles, then puts his finger back on his temples. I drank too much. Shit. I'm a lightweight and they knew it. I think they were trying to loosen my tongue. His behavior changes abruptly, like he's just seen a ghost. One question. Yes? Do taxi drivers have some sort of policy or ethics code? Let's go with yes, of course. He smiles. Perfect. Because I don't know who to talk to about this and I don't know. You look like a nice guy. He takes his head in his hands. Fucking shit. I've been lying to my colleagues for years. I joined the squad 8 years ago and they all think I'm in a relationship with a woman who lives in Strasbourg. And that we're going to get married. He makes a strange yelping noise, like an air bubble bursting on the surface of a river. As soon as they get too close to Strasbourg, I start making up stories. We've almost broken up 10 times. I convinced them we're trying to have a kid, but it hasn't worked yet. He sighs. Fuck, saying it out loud is just the worst. His eyes are getting shiny. I'm gay. A deep breath. I'm getting married in a few weeks. To my boyfriend. Another breath, longer, deeper. No one at work knows, not a soul. The next sentence comes out in a rush. He holds his breath the whole time. I like men. I've always liked men. But I work in a police station and listen to their comments, to their jokes all day long. When we catch a guy who's never done time before, we tell him briefly what he should expect. We talk about the violence, about the... Finally he breathes again. I say we because I'm in on it. Because I can say fag any time of day without any prompting. The word rolls off my tongue completely naturally. Fag. Finally looks you in the eye. They're not mean. Who? He shakes his head. My colleagues. My colleagues aren't mean people. They're cops. Not mean. Just doing the job. He manages to flash a tiny crooked smile. You know what I'd really like? He pauses. I'd like to have them over for dinner. Everybody on the squad. They could see my place. We could play a board game. Something normal, you know? And they could meet James. He's your husband-to-be? Takes a moment to think about your question. Yes. Soon. Smiles at last. A genuine smile. Can you believe it? We're getting married in 2 weeks. After living together for 9 years. For 9 years he's been willing to live in a lie. James, he's English? James is Australian. We met over there. I was traveling. I must have been what, 22? I was working on a potato farm there in middle of nowhere, Victoria. Me, the little dude from the Parisian suburbs. He was on his gap year just after college and we just clicked. He comes from a very typical family. A mom, a dad, an older sister. He likes to surf, does charity work, likes to hunt and fish. Totally Australian. Spicy says the butler did it. It's always the goddamn butler. Always. Your passenger flashes his pearly whites. His eyes are shining and he's getting emotional. His parents couldn't handle him being gay and even less so him dating an Asian. Things are complicated in Australia. He stops abruptly. Shit, my head is spinning. I don't feel so good. Why am I telling you all this? Why? He grabs onto the seat in front of him. Hey, can you pull over? You stop immediately. He opens the door and leans the top half of his body out. He throws up. You open your window to air out the greasy smell of fried crepes and the sour scent of cider. A moment later, the cop sits back up. Okay, I'm all set. I got it all out. You start driving again. I'm sorry, really. Breathe. Yeah, you're right. You nod while your passenger moans and quietly says, I'm sorry. Don't worry. He pauses to catch his breath. Shit, I haven't barfed like that since last Easter. Made me drink the South African liquor, something with cream and cocoa. Nasty. I can still picture it. I was doing shots while they were shouting my name. Karate Kid! Karate Kid! Let him continue. It was a rough night. We just closed the case. He groans. You glaze in the rearview mirror. You okay? Everything's spinning again. Can you? You pull over. A repeat of last time. He opens the door, leans his head out, his torso, his arms. Sound makes your stomach churn, so you stare straight ahead. Can I ask you a question? More puke on the sidewalk, a little inside the vehicle. Oh, he did it in the car. Go ahead. Fine, shoot. He sits up, prompts you to drive. So, here goes. What should I do? Should I keep on keeping on? Should I confess? Should I invite them to my wedding and surprise them? He pauses. It's a long one. Be straight with me. What would you do if you were me, if you were in my shoes? Think you're being hard on yourself. You're hurting yourself rather than trying to solve the problem. You're not going to change your sexual orientation or leave your husband, so there aren't a ton of alternatives. Oh boy. Well, he did comment that those cops seemed the brutish type, so I don't know. They could be very bad to him. Maybe they should leave. Let's tell him to leave. Leave? Move? We sometimes start to suffocate in our own surroundings. We do stupid things because, hey, you know what they say, it's really hard to save someone who's drowning. Because in a panic, the person drowning will hit the person trying to save them. And they both end up drowning. Exactly. The water makes us panic, tires us out, and we become a danger to others. You need a change of environment. His eyes shine dully in the mirror. You're awfully smart for a taxi driver. And you're a gay cop. Nice. Now you get a frank smile. You're right. What if James and I went back to Australia? He nods, lost in thought. You have almost reached your destination. In the back seat, your passenger is almost asleep. You park in front of a small townhouse. There's a light on upstairs. He's still up. I'm going to talk to James. He looks at you. I don't really remember everything I said, but thanks. He chuckles. I hope this taxi ride wasn't just in my imagination. He pays and gets out of the taxi. You listen to his clumsy footsteps on the cobblestones. He climbs the few steps up to the door. Before he has time to find his keys, the door opens. Warm, soft light floods the street. You drive away. That was nice. Hey. What do we have? Hey, who are you? I need a man I can trust. Uh-oh. Let's go for it. The man getting in your cab seems anxious. You've seen these types before. Late for a meeting, late to catch a plane, late getting home. Gives you an address in the 15th arrondissement. You recognize him, a former deputy or senator, something like that. He looks at you nervously. In the mirror, he's upset about something. Everything all right, sir? Yes, fine, thank you. His eyes are watering. He runs a hand across his damp forehead. He's sweating a great deal for a winter night. He clears his throat. Excuse me, I was wondering. Yes? Do people ever leave things in your taxi? All the time. All the time. That's good to know. He pauses and attempts to pull himself together. He looks cramped in his suit. And what do you do with the things people forget? Do you keep them? We take them back to the central office and wait for someone to claim them. Oh shit. I mean, fine, very good. How civil of you. Good job. He's weird. He pauses again. Do you need anything? Well, yes. No. How shall I say? I need to lose something, if you get my drift. I need to lose it in your taxi. I don't understand. Sorry, I owe you an explanation. I just got out of a meeting. It was awful. Sighing to himself, he adds, awful. I've always been loyal to the party, you know. I've always followed orders, gotten the job done. My mother was a card-carrying member, my father an elected official, but I just can't do it anymore. I'm going to leave my briefcase here on the back seat. A moment goes by, he stares at you. You might say it was an oversight, you see. And then what happens? And then someone will take care of the briefcase. When you drop the taxi off, bring the briefcase to the head office. Someone will come pick it up. Takes a deep breath. This country we'll live in. I'm going to hell in a handbasket. Everyone running it is corrupt. They've sold out. They're thieves, all of them. He slowly lays the briefcase behind him. We have lunch with lobbyists, dinner with bankers. We should burn everything, start over from scratch. Sometimes I dream we'll all get sick, be swept away by a political plague. A flu for suits. He pauses, exhales, shakes. I can't bear to see them spend 600 euros on a meal when they just decided to close a hospital that suddenly became too costly to maintain. 6 months ago, we refused to vote for a law that would have prevented the building in Pantin from burning down. Do you remember? 6 months ago, we could have saved 75 people. Stumbles over the next few words. The public housing minister, when we presented that bastard with the bill, he burst out laughing. As if people living in those crumbling buildings were just peons. The passenger groans as if in pain and suddenly stops talking. What are you going to do now? I'm going to sleep. Then they'll send me to prison. Or worse, to a far-off ward. Some overseas territory, Guyana, or something like that. He struggles to swallow. That's what they do to traitors. And after that we'll see. Tomorrow is another day, if you know what I mean. Silence. Stop the car. Act as if everything is normal. You park along the sidewalk. You suddenly notice your client smells terrible. Sour punch and BO, almost unbearable. Pays his fare and slips you an extra bill. Your compensation. He gets out and walks away quickly without turning back. You open the window to air out the cab. Oh, what a tip. Nice. Almost the same as the fare. Okay. Let's go for this one. But that's pretty close. You pull up to a local police station to pick up your next passenger. She comes out from under an archway, visibly frightened. She slips into the back seat of the cab and gives you her address, near Montparnasse. Glance at her in the rearview mirror and notice how she is dressed. Everything all right, ma'am? Start the cab. The passenger eyes you intently, reluctant to speak. Yes. You can barely hear her. She points to the car radio. Could I listen to the radio? You nod yes. Which station? My wallet was stolen. She pauses and fixes her eyes on you. You freeze. I have money for the fare. Okay. Passenger senses your surprise. I just wanted to tell you I could pay. Looks down. What kind of music? Excuse me? The radio. What kind of music should I put on? Rock? The woman shakes her head. No. Could you turn to 89.4? You hold down the button until you get to the station. On 89.4 there's nothing but static. Are you sure that... A smile plays across her mouth, faint, but a smile even so. She waits for a second or two before answering. Can you hear it? You lean forward slightly, closer to the radio. Behind the sounds of electric sputtering, there is something else, a shifting sound. It sounds like... waves? The passenger looks up. That's right. There are waves in the background. Her voice is almost inaudible. It's perfectly natural, sir. Her sir gives you quite a start. It's the frequency that causes it. It vibrates, is constantly dancing about, pulled by all the incredible forces surrounding us. Most people listen to music, to the news. As for me, when I work, I like to listen to isolated frequencies like these. They're broadcast, but no one hears them. The proof that we exist. He smiles at you. You're getting close to the passenger's address now. And what do you do for a living? Math. He seems mesmerized by the sound of the wavelengths. Are you a teacher? No, not at all. I do research. He gives you a sidelong glance. The client suddenly straightens up and points to the radio. It's beautiful. So incredibly beautiful. Listen. You listen. You only hear static at first. And then, little by little, like a distant figure, music takes shape and slips softly into your ears. Beautiful, isn't it? To me, they were ghosts, and that's why I studied science and later mathematics. I wanted to know why. You pull over. She gets the fare ready when you slowly turn up the radio. Beneath the layer of interference, someone is speaking, like the voice of a child. Thank you. You emerge from your trance and take the fare. Your passenger exits the cab and walks away without another word. You sit there, immersed in the sound of the radio a while longer. It has a soothing effect on you. You start the engine and drive away. Oh god, €6. That ain't paying the bills. Oh god, everyone's so far. Okay, let's go for this guy. Oh, that's a long one. And nice money too. I'll pour myself a drink. Actually, okay, accept. Okay, let's go. Your passenger is waiting on the sidewalk with an enormous suitcase next to him. You get out of the cab, pick up the suitcase, which must weigh 45 kilos at the very least, and put it in the trunk. You get back in, with your passenger close on your heels. The doors slam shut. You turn the key in the ignition and look up at your passenger. Charles de Gaulle, right? He nods and you start driving. It's pretty early to be getting on a plane. You must be the type that likes to get there well ahead of time. Japanese? Chinese? You're not sure. You smile. Tourists always have such a magical image of Paris. There's almost no traffic and you're able to drive at a decent speed. Behind you, in the rearview mirror, you can see the tip of the Eiffel Tower start to appear. Say nothing. He keeps staring at you with an annoyed expression he obviously doesn't understand. What? I can't read that. His voice is frank, with a dose of exhaustion. Okay, it's Japanese, you're sure now. He imitates the sound of a plane taking off. You think you may have recognized the name of the airport. Airport? Airport. He nods. He turns away so vehemently you understand he wants to be left in peace. He wants calm and silence. You hear him mumbling to himself. His voice is deep and heavy. He takes a short pause to swallow his spit. You like Paris? He ignores you and keeps mumbling. The tone of his voice makes you think he's making a list of all the things he hated. He mumbles on and on. He's made that sound before. Third time. You immediately recognize the word. Versailles. Versailles. He bursts out laughing. He glances at you. You don't understand. You get the impression he wants you to repeat what he's saying. Repeat? He nods. He falls back into his seat, his eyes closed. He doesn't want to speak to you anymore. You've had passengers who didn't speak any French before, but this one seems furious. Maybe he didn't like Paris. Maybe he prefers Tokyo. You smile. For just a second you imagine yourself as a taxi driver in Tokyo. Businessmen, well-dressed high schoolers, those Japanese mobsters. What are they called again? Leave him alone. You keep driving. You think about the movie you saw during your hospital stay. A black American soldier on the run who starts hanging out with some sort of bum who was a huge jazz fan. It was a singular movie, incredible. It made a real impression on you. The title was... No, you can't remember the title. And how could you possibly describe it to your passenger? Impossible. What a shame you can't speak his language. What a shame not to understand him, not to be able to talk to him about it. You sigh. Maybe later. You'll have time to learn Japanese. It's probably hard, not the same alphabet, not the same letters, but then again, your parents could read in Arabic and write in French. So you could too. Yes, later. You'll have time. And then, here you are by the airport. A heap of ramps and tunnels brings you to the drop-off zone. You pull to a stop and your client wakes up. He notices the airport, a few taxis, your own fatigue. He starts talking peacefully in a soft voice. Whatever he said. He shakes his head. Okay. Pays his fare with a twinge of shame. Get out of your taxi and help him get his suitcase out of the trunk. It weighs a ton. He thanks you with a sad look of defeat. He grabs onto your sleeve as you try to get back in your car. You nod very slowly. Me too. He looks you over slowly, from head to toe. When he starts speaking again, his voice is monotone and completely void of emotion. Something inside you resonates, like you understood what he just said. 19 something. He lost someone, his wife maybe. He looks upset. He shakes his head. He should have come with someone. If only you could understand him. He bows, and he straightens up. His eyes are misty. You don't know why, but it seems normal to reply. You're welcome. He walks away with his huge suitcase. Without a looking back, your passenger goes into the airport. The sliding glass doors close behind him. You start to realize the airport is waking up all around you. A woman who must have been a Viking in another life is pushing a floor waxer across the tiles in the entryway, just below the heating vents. A fellow driver waves as he's leaving the drop-off zone. A plane, maybe the first one of the day, appears in the sky. You get back in the taxi. For a minute, you rub your freezing hands together to warm them up. Just a few seconds before driving off. Okay. Oh, we can actually get home early, so maybe we can open more files. Yay. Open your front door and your foot hits something. An envelope. Someone slid it under your door. Busset? You open it straight away. It's a police file. You lay it on the table. It must be from your passenger, the whistleblower. You smiled. He kept his word. You wipe your face. You're starting to feel sleepy. Your neighbor flushes the toilet. Out of the corner of your eye you can see the pipe shake. You glance at your bed and get to work. Where is this file then? Okay, not here. Yeah, let's see what we got. Victim 2, stolen wallet. Let's see. There's nothing else new here. Only this. New clue. Killer fought victim 3. Okay. Michael Dimitro says you lose a lot of money. Yeah, I do. I do. The money management isn't easy here. So far, everybody here, basically, I think everybody that is left has a good reason to be the killer. Huh. I can't really eliminate anybody just to narrow it down. Actually, killer fought victim 1. Okay, wait. Killer fought victim 1. And victim 1 was a great football coach. So he must have been really strong, which would exclude this woman, actually. Even though she has a lot of reasons. Because yeah, if victim 1 I doubt if she personally fought a football coach, I don't think she would have won. You know what? Let's exclude her from here for now. At least for the time being, and try to focus on these guys. He was a football player, so he would have some strength. Homeless man with an unknown background, that doesn't help us. And this guy is a retired cop who has a gun from the 70s. This guy doesn't seem like he could have a gun. This guy could have a gun. Yeah, so the remaining three don't really give a good reason to be ahead as a main suspect. You open one eye. Someone flushes the toilet and you hear the pipes shake. One of them runs under your bed. You find the sound calming. You get up quickly. And a few minutes later you're outside of your studio. Night 5. Okay. What else have we got here? Yeah, actually, let's listen to the radio. Listen to the news. You happen upon the nighttime news. You learn that one of the recipients of this year's Fields Medal, a prize awarded for outstanding work in mathematics, is a French woman of Iranian descent. You hear her voice in a short clip and immediately recognize it as one of your passengers. Oh my god, that's that shy girl. Her name is Shorech Prevert, age 33, on the spectrum, and a mathematician. You can't help but smile, remembering when she rode in your back seat. As soon as the news is over, you turn the radio off so that the cab is silent again. Okay, back to work. Who are you? Okay. And that's a lot of money too. The next passenger getting in your cab enters in a cloud of extremely heavy perfume. It's a well-known scent, one of you often see advertised on the Champs Elysees. The woman must be in her 50s. She has impeccable posture. The fur she wears around her neck must be worth several days' pay. Oh my god, I like the eyes on the fox, or whatever animal she's wearing. And also that's sad. Don't wear real fur. She opens her mouth. Good evening. Before you start driving, I just need to tell you something very... She purses her lips, attempting to stifle the word that is about to come out, and raises a finger. Shit! Or... She continues to look at you, the same smile frozen on her face. She just shouted gibberish at you, but her face hasn't budged. It's like she isn't even aware of what she said. She purses her lips even harder. Doggy foreskin. She shakes her head. I am truly sorry. Please hear me out. Aiko Dimitro says if it was real fox, it will be cool. No. Not cool. Not cool at all. You are so taken aback that you find nothing to say. I am suffering from major emotional trauma. It seems to have triggered very strong verbal episodes. They're exhausting, to be honest. I hope you can understand.